All right, good afternoon, everyone. At this time, I'd like to call to order the work session, January 19th, 2023, Coffee County Board of Education. This time, Assistant Superintendent Mr. Lee Mobley, if you offer our indication.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Preston. If y'all don't mind, join me in prayer. Lord, we just thank you so much for allowing us to come together and assemble as a group of educators and board members and parents and school members, and with the sole purpose of doing the best job we can to support the students and the families of our community, Lord. I pray that our efforts are pleasing in your sight, Lord. I thank you for the protection provided for our district over the year, and we pray for continued blessings and protection over our students and our bus drivers and our families throughout the district. I pray the work we do tonight is productive, Lord, and I pray that it's pleasing in your sight. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, board members, at this time I need a motion for the adoption of the agenda. Mr. Wade, second, Ms. Johnson. Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor?
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Lewis.
All right. Thanks, sir. The first thing we have on our agenda is the school update, and we have Miss Anastasia Carter here from Indian Creek, our principal, to provide the update. I think she has some guests with her.
Thank you, Dr. Lees. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I am Anastasia Carter, principal of one of the best schools in the district, Indian Creek Elementary. And tonight I have with me some special guests that are going to share with you the great things happening at our school. So first, I would like for my grade level leaders from kindergarten, Miss Greta Grantham, if you'll come up. From third grade, Miss Renee Taylor, if you'll come up. And from fifth grade, Miss JoBeth Ursery. You can stand right here if you like. And they'll just share briefly with you some great things happening at our school in their grade levels. We'll begin.
Okay, so I have the honor of teaching kindergarten each day at Indian Creek, and so kindergarten and pre-K is just like the foundation of learning. And so in kindergarten each day, we learn our letters, sounds, numbers, shapes, colors, how to write, how to hold a pencil. We're busy all day long, but we have fun every day, never a dull moment. And so just each grade builds upon each other, and I'm just so proud to be a part of that foundation of learning each day. And this is just a little collage of just a few of our pictures from the year. We try to, every week when we learn a letter, usually we have some kind of fun Friday activity to go along with it. And then we love to dress up, we love to eat, we love to sing. And then like tomorrow will be the 100th day of school, so we'll be looking like a bunch of 100-year-olds walking around. That's what we do. We're busy, but little people, they are capable of many, many amazing things.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you so much.
And I am Miss Renee Taylor. I'm a third grade teacher at Indian Creek Elementary School. And this slide is a great example of how we're able to teach across the curriculum, integrating all the different standards. This was in a math, science, and social studies classroom, and the students were able to differentiate the product for our assignment over the Georgia habitats. We also do projects in our ELA classroom as well. And we're excited this year in third grade because we're teaching and learning and integrating the standards to prepare the students for the Georgia milestones. Whether it's making our Georgia milestone practice folder, or whether we are letting the students get onto Study Island, or whether we're using our data from Beacon, from CVMs, from Star Reading, Star Math, or from the Right Score to drive our instruction. So we're working hard, we're making learning fun, and we're trying to make it a success for all of our students.
I'm JoBeth Ursery, and I am a fifth grade teacher at Indian Creek Elementary, and I am talking about all the fun things that happen in fifth grade. We have a lot of fun, even though we do have Georgia milestone, but recently we took our kids to Fun Place for their Christmas party because they've kind of outgrown the Polar Express, and we want to do something different for them. We had Spooky Science Night where we did a lot of cool spooky experiments, hands-on experiments that are happening in the science classrooms. Ms. Preston and Mr. Miller are science teachers there, and they do a really good job with those, making ice cream, to magnets, to circuits, to the Van de Graaff generator, and they just do a lot of fun things to make learning fun. We have dress-up days, and in ELA, we like to do a lot of the reader's theater to get them excited about reading and to get fluency, their character, and to just to learn to love to read. And then in math, recently they were doing division, does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? And the parents donated cheeseburgers from McDonald's for the students. So we do have a lot of fun at Indian Creek.
Thank you, teachers. Also this year, we have 2 initiatives we started this year. Our STEM program in foreign languages, and Ms. Tony Taylor is our facilitator for both programs. Ms. Tony, just come and share briefly.
I'm Tony Taylor. I'm paraprofessional at Indian Creek Elementary. This year, the STEM program is new to our school, and also the foreign language. The slide shows some of the fun little activities that the students have done this year that they've completed. Foreign language program, we're using Dino-Lingo. This is new. We're still trying to learn to navigate through that program, but it's also fun, and the kids are excited about doing both of those new programs. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're excited about that because we're preparing our students for the 21st century. So they're going to be ready to go out into the world and just navigate it. So tonight also I have 2 very important guests, and there's our 2 students, and that is Angeline Pham, come on Angeline, and Miss Katie McClendon, come on. And they're just going to share briefly with you. Turn to the next slide. Oh, excuse me, go back. I missed that one. Student life. Just stand right there, darling. You can stand right here, Angeline. And Katie right here. All right, and you girls just briefly share with them about student life at Indian Creek. You want to begin, Angeline?
We have a lot of fun at Indian Creek with lots of fun activities. Our teachers are absolutely the best. I love them. Science and social studies, we get to play review games to study for our tests, and the review games really help me make 100 on them.
Thank you, Angeline. Katie?
Every morning when we come in, we always have like all of the teachers, they're always waving and greeting everybody. Sometimes whenever you come in, you'll see teachers standing out of the doorways waving at all the students. And I know whenever I go in my classroom, the teacher's always, good morning. And she could even be talking to somebody else, and then a student will walk in and she'll be like, good morning.
Thank you, girls. Thank you for sharing student life at Indian Creek Elementary. Also, we're excited and we're always supportive about our support programs at ESOL. Ms. Trish is going to come share briefly with you about that support program. It is one of our goals in improving and increasing our subgroups.
Hello. ESOL stands for English to Speakers of Other Languages, and we have 2 ESOL teachers at Indian Creek. Rhonda Johnson works with the younger students, and I work with the upper grade levels. I'm Trish Watson. And we have 86 ESOL students at Indian Creek. 68 of them are regular students, and then we have 18 that are monitor students that have exited the program. Of those students, 83 of them speak Spanish, 2 speak Chinese, and 1 speaks Gujarati. I think I said that correctly. But our goal as ESOL teachers is just to support our students and help them to be successful in society and in school by helping them develop English language proficiency in the areas of listening, reading, speaking, and writing. And we do that in the classroom by providing support with content and vocabulary skills, as well as academic and social language, cultural awareness, and communication strategies. And most of our students, we just go into the regular classroom and work with them during flex groups, but we do also pull some students to our classroom. And our kindergarten through 3rd grade, they receive 45 minutes of instruction a day, 50 minutes for 4th and 5th grade, and one more thing. And we also support our parents as well, our families. We do an ESOL newsletter, we have an ESOL fiesta, where we invite the families to come, they bring an authentic dish, we do a presentation, it's wonderful. And then we have a table up here teacher conference where they can ask questions, we provide homework strategies and ways to help them at home.
Thank you, Ms. Trish.
Had a lot to say.
And last but not least, Ms. Sonia Henley, just to share with you briefly about our academic achievement.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. We are excited to share our Georgia Milestones scores from this past spring. If you look at the slide there, that's our grade 3 in English Language Arts and Math. We exceeded the system, the RESA, and the state. The red bar is Indian Creek. We're very proud of our third graders. In fourth grade, we exceeded the, in English Language Arts, we exceeded the system. We're kind of neck and neck with RESA and the state. And then in Math, we also exceeded the system, but kind of, again, neck and neck with RESA and the state. Fifth grade Language Arts, we exceeded the system, neck and neck with RESA and the state, same in Math. And then the next slide, fifth grade Science, we exceeded our system. We're right there with RESA and kind of neck and neck there, and then we exceeded the state. We're very proud of those scores. If we look back and compared FY 21 and 22, we wouldn't see a huge gain, but we're proud that we held our own because we spent a lot of time filling learning gaps because of the pandemic. We didn't know what our scores would look like in FY 22, but our teachers dug in the data. They found out where our kids were. They worked hard to fill gaps. We're not finished filling gaps. You hear in the news media that the pandemic is over, and the school system is not over. Our children are still, we still have children that lost learning, and it will take more than a year, for us to catch that up. But we're working hard. On January, our most recent professional learning day, January the 3rd, we worked with our teachers. We looked at our STAR Math, our STAR Reading. We take the Beacon assessment fall and winter. It's very similar to the Georgia Milestones. It gives a predictor of how our students will perform on the Georgia Milestones. We can drill down to specific standards for students, and then we plan instruction in flex groups to try to meet those needs for our students. We have a number of new teachers on our campus this year. That's always exciting. I think we have a new teacher, at least one in every grade level except 5th grade this year. So we have a new teacher academy led by our academic coach, Ms. Kim Spain. We also pair those teachers with veteran teachers that are mentor teachers, and they, we work hard together with them to try to grow our new teachers and our students and keep our teachers. We want to keep them on our campus. So Indian Creek has a special place in my heart. I love it. I love the people I work with. It's been a pleasure to work with Ms. Carter. And we hope that this time next year that we can say to you that we have even more great gains than we had this past year.
Thank you, Ms. Henley. Indian Creek will finish strong and we'll soar greater next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Y'all make me want to come out there tomorrow and just hang out. Great job. All right. Next on our agenda, we have the minutes from the previous meeting. Any questions about the minutes? Take a moment to read over those. If there's no concern about the minutes, then if it pleases the board, we'll place those on the consent agenda for the regular meeting following this. Next item is finance and our financial report. You'll see the documents that are attached in the financial report. We have, number one, the December financials. And the beginning fund equity was $25,704,651.01. And the end of month fund equity is $29,641,218.97. And that is July 1st through December 31st of 22. The next item that we have, number 2, is the comparison report. And you'll see for the last 4 years, how we compare. And we're in a good financial position. And the next document, number 3, is the detail report. Ms. Shawn, is there anything that you need to point out on the detailed report?
The revenues, for our tax collection, that they're slowing down as of this point. So probably January will be the last month that we kind of see, then we'll start seeing a decrease in our revenue funds
Yes,
for the
ma'am.
fiscal year.
So we're at the high for the year.
We're at the high. Yes, sir.
And then the last report is the ESOL. You see the revenue for December. And, compared to 2 years ago, we're tracking a little higher. As this retail expansion continues in Coffee County, I've noticed they've got the blocks back there to start construction of the public, so I would expect it'll go pretty quick. The parking lot's done, and so I expect that public is going to come pretty quick. And hopefully we'll see continued growth in the East Floss. I did include on the agenda budget retreat for fiscal year 2024. I wanted to nail down a date, and I've talked with our chairman, and we looked at the March 10th or 24th. And we don't have to decide that tonight. If we could, that would be great, but we just wanted to have a formal discussion about it so we don't let any more time go by before we can in the next couple of days try to nail down a date for it.
Board members, y'all have a preference, y'all want to think about it?
We're doing like a morning meeting through early afternoon. I can do both those. I got to be gone both those afternoons later on, but
We've got the board meeting on the 23rd. Y'all want to do the budget meeting right after that, or y'all want to do the budget meeting before that?
It's just budget or retreat?
This is, well, it'll be the budget retreat, the retreat slash
What time
budget.
you talking about? We need to do it on the day by itself?
Yeah, we'll do all day. We'll start in the morning. We'll have Bill come so that y'all can get credit for training, and then we'll cut right into the budget, budget work. It's kind of the class what we've been doing, same thing we've been doing.
Go to about 2 o'clock.
We'll have the different.
23rd?
The meeting's on, we got a regular meeting on the 23rd, and then
We do it on the, earlier than that.
Yeah, March 10th, we could do March 10th.
Everybody do that?
Yeah, March 10th.
That goes everybody? Okay.
Can you do March 10th? All right, so y'all can all do March 10th? Well, great, that'll be good, that'll be better, really. All right? All right, so March 10th it is. Great. All right. All right, well, we'll plan for that, and the different department heads that are involved. We're working on staffing right now. We're starting the staffing meetings next week with the principals, start going over their staffing for next year, and then we'll be meeting with department heads and principals through February, and we'll have all that compiled, ready to go by March 10th. All right? Great. And I'll try to get Bill here to see, I can talk with him about those dates, but he's usually pretty flexible, and then y'all can get some credit for training also. All right? Great. All right. E-rate, we have a recommendation here. I'm making a recommendation to purchase some equipment, and this is for the new JROTC facility. This will be switches and wireless internet access points, and the bids are there. You'll see Cloud 59 Networks is price. Logan, you want to explain that?
Yes, sir. We put out a E-rate 470 for the 2 switches that are required to run that facility. There's a main switch and a secondary. And then looking at the plans for the wireless infrastructure, required 19 access points to cover that facility. And so we picked up 16. We'll pick up 16 of these Aruba 635s, which are an upgrade from what we typically use in the classroom. They have an expansion on their capability to future-proof us and get us ready, and then 3 outdoor access points that are rugged and weatherproof, and will cover that practice field, outdoor practice field, and they'll point out and cover that whole field. So if we have need for Wi-Fi on the field as they practice, what have you, they'll have all that coverage. And so it'll be falls right in line with the network infrastructure we already have, and should do as well. Now with E-rate, of course, it covers 85% of it, so fairly expensive project until you factor in the E-rate funding. So there were 2 bids that came through. Cloud 59 is the vendor we recommend. We worked with them on a lot of other network projects, and they came in at the low bid.
Great.
And so we were asking for approval tonight so we can file at the beginning of the E-rate window, which opened up, I think, today or early next week. And so we can go ahead and get in line for early approval and get the orders in and avoid any potential supply chain issues.
Any questions, board members?
Not necessarily about that, but the classrooms that are over there, are they gonna be outfitted just like classrooms in the school with the boards and all that kind of stuff?
Yes, sir. That was the idea. They have a audio enhancement system planned out for that. So then the projectors, we're getting it outfitted for the power so we can add the projectors and whiteboards. And so we'll, looking at the timeline on that, we'll have to order those and get them installed. We might be able to just, since it's 2 classrooms, or if they only want to do 1 board, we'll look at the design there. Should be able to install that ourselves, maybe not have to go out for bid for, the projector and the whiteboard. Could even do one of those touch panels in there. Make it simple.
All right, if there's no objection, we'll place that on the consent agenda.
Yep.
All right. The next item is CTAE. We have Ms. Rhonda Dorsey here with us tonight to present the purchase for CTAE.
I'm here asking for you all to approve a purchase of new computers to upgrade in 2 of our CTA labs. It's our graphic design class and our engineering technology labs. We've got federal Perkins funds that's been allocated to make this purchase, and there's a total, I think it's 56 computers total with art to graphics and so forth to help with these 2 pathways that we've got.
Board members, any questions?
How much local funding?
It would take none. All of this will be allocated with our federal funds that we receive each year. And it's in our comprehensive local needs assessment, and that was all approved with the state as well. That was purchased to happen.
What subject there? I'm
It's
curious.
our graphics design, and entrepreneur will also get to use that particular lab. And then our engineering and technology courses, those classes, it has a lot of the 3D graphics, motion, and so the ones we have are just outdated for the programs that are out there that they need to use currently.
Right.
And those 2 pathways are growing really well right now.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Any questions? It pleases the board once again. We'll place this on the consent agenda. Next item on the agenda is capturing kids' hearts. And we have Mr. Lee Mobley who will be presenting this purchase request. I will, before Mr. Mobley speaks, say that as part of our ESSER funding, as a result of the pandemic and the funding that we received through the State Department from the federal government, One of the areas in which we needed to invest is in the area of social emotional learning for our young people. After the pandemic, there's been a rise in the need for this type of learning with students. And so we worked with our counselors in our special services department, and they brought in, I think, 6 or 7 counselors and social workers, and they formed a committee with their social workers and counselors. The counselors were from the different grade levels, and they put out a request for products, and they looked at 5 or 6 different products that were submitted by the different vendors to address social and emotional learning. And they met in here, much like we're in here tonight, and they had the different vendors come in and present to this committee. The committee was headed by Dr. Johnson, Tanya Johnson, and there were some teachers involved and some administrators involved in that selection process. And that group, after they heard from those vendors and their different products, they unanimously chose Capturing Kids' Hearts. And so after that initial presentation from Capturing Kids' Hearts and the recommendation from that committee made up of counselors and social workers and administrators, then we went further and we sent a team of teachers and principals to the training in Atlanta. And that group, it was all of our principals, and then they each took a teacher to the training, and they all went through the training so that we could decide if this was truly what we wanted to pursue and what we wanted to invest those federal dollars in. And keep in mind, the money came as a result of the pandemic. It came through the Georgia State Department, and then the State Department has approved this purchase. So I will say this also, that the application was submitted to the State Department as part of our ESSER funding, and the State Department of Education approved the purchase of Capturing Kids' Hearts. But in order for us to proceed with the purchase, we have to have local board approval. So Mr. Mobley's going to tell you about Capturing Kids' Hearts.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Lees. It's an honor to be up here tonight speaking about a program that I truly 100% buy into. And as Dr. Lee stated, we've gone through a few steps kind of warming up to the program, making sure it's what we needed as a district. And to share a little bit about, I'm an inquisitive mind. When we say we need to find something for social emotional health, I want to know why. So I've been doing a little research and digging in to see, because I think it goes without being said, we're in a state of crisis in the world with our students and their mental health and just well-being in general. So I wanted to share just a couple of slides with you briefly, not just about Capturing Kids' Hearts, but the need for Capturing Kids' Hearts. So the next slide, Logan. Yesterday we had a workshop or a training with our strategic planning, and we had some really sharp high school students there. And one young lady made a quote, and actually she was with Mr. Preston's group, and I talked with her afterwards. I said, can I use that? Because that's really good stuff. And we talked and we've emailed back and two, and this is what she wanted to share, and this is what she said. She said that any teacher can say that they want to invest in the students' lives, but their authenticity is revealed in their actions. And, you know, the proof's in the pudding. And she said I could share that, and I thought, these are our students. This isn't a national, survey or research. But the next slides do reveal a little bit about a survey that I've looked into, and there were 100,000 students that were surveyed in 6 through 12 in these 4 areas about how school connectedness, family connectedness, high parent expectations, and a faith-based connectedness impacted their decisions, their contentment, their happiness, and their well-being. And the next slide, by far the strongest factor that was revealed, it was like 86%, was school connectedness. That was the factor that made a difference. And even going a little deeper, the next slide reveals those students said that it was the strongest factor that they considered to decrease substance abuse, absenteeism from school, emotional distress, acts of violence, and then self-harm. So when we think about our students have said, my feeling about my involvement and being a part of my school community, my culture, my climate, is the most important thing to me when it comes to these 5 factors. that gets my attention. And I think anybody working with students, it would get your attention. So the next slide there, Logan, in addition to students and those, the motivation, those factors I've covered, with staff, the survey said that teacher turnover, teacher satisfaction, teacher absenteeism, and teacher collaboration were strongly impacted by students being connected to their teachers at school, which is, I think, equally important. Now, before I get to this slide, I did want to share Capturing Kids' Hearts is a program. And it's a program that aims to create strengths and empower teachers to build positive relationships and to build buy-in and community within their schools, which is exactly what this study revealed. Not only their social emotional learning, but their self-worth, value, and just a sense of belonging in general. Now, I could stand up here all day and talk about this program, but as Dr. Lee said, we took a team, and this is the summary of where we've been. Our summer leadership retreat, we had a representative come out and share with our administrators, which was kind of whetting their appetite. And then at convocation, we had the founder and director of the Flipping Group, who's over Capturing Kids' Hearts, come out and deliver our convocation address. And then, as Dr. Leese mentioned, we had 2 days of training that we took our school administrators and a lead teacher and several directors and other administrators. And y'all, I could talk about it all day, but I just felt it was important to bring some teachers. These are our soldiers, these are boots on the ground, these are our people who I think could tell us, is this program what we need for our students? And I asked an elementary person, Mr. David Hanley, if you want to come up, and Ms. Keela Swinson at the middle school, and Mr. Jerry Hill at the high school, and their principals allowed them to come up. But I asked them if they'd just share just a couple of minutes about the training, how it impacted them, how they feel it would impact our district, our culture, and our students.
Hello, my name is Keila Swinson, and I'm a 7th grade achievement science teacher at Coffee Middle School. And I've been teaching for 17 years, and this is my 17th year. And I believe that, and you know, we've all heard the saying that kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So with that philosophy in my mind, that's how I approach my students in my classroom setting. I want to foster a classroom where the kids feel safe. They feel safe to take risks and to understand that if they give me the wrong answer, we're going to get to the right answer. So having that mindset as a teacher, because I love the positive energy. If you ever been to Coffee Middle School, if I ever taught your child probably came home with jokes and laughter about Miss Swinson. Because I know how to disarm them emotionally because they come from different backgrounds. And so experiencing this conference, it was almost like it was ministering to me as well, because it was just that profound. It went beyond the textbook. And so the setting that I was in Atlanta with the administrators, I was just glad that I was chosen. I said, me? So naturally I was there and I was like, awesome. So for me as a teacher who's already pushing the positive energy in the classroom, who knows that that's where the success is, it's going to put those kids in a different mind. But this is the catch. The teacher has to set the tone for that classroom. The teacher has to be the thermostat for this program. She or he has to understand that when that kid comes in, we don't know what they left at home or what they're going back to. So we have to adjust that thermostat to feed them and to meet their needs. And this program, from what I experienced in Atlanta, it changed my perspective. I went home and looked at my own child and said, I got to do better.
Can't do over, but you can do better.
I can do better. And this program has to work. They had us crying. They had us in, and we were it just touched us in a place that we haven't been touched. And so I believe that if it impacted me as an educator who's been through many trainings, it touched me in a different way. And I believe that the buy-in will definitely help if we take a systematic approach as a county. I believe that we'll see a turnaround in our students' performance in the classroom. We'll see better relationships with the teacher and students. We'll see a high profile look at the school. The climate will change. And if it's pushed, I believe that we'll see great success.
Thank you. I'm David Hanley. I teach 3rd grade math at Satilla Elementary. And just to add to Keila, one of the things was, like I told Ms. Romley, we were thrown into a room with about 60 people we had no idea who were. Some were from Colquitt County, I think. And in 2 days' time, we built enough relationship with those people that we felt comfortable enough sitting in a circle and crying about an item that meant something to us. So I just felt that if in 2 days we could build that much relationship with these random strangers, what could this program do in a year with our students that we see every day? So I just feel like we'd have great success with this, and it would just make a huge impact for us.
Thank you.
I don't know, after what they said, I can even say anything. That is exactly dead on, dead on. I'll just tell you a personal experience for me. I was one of those kids that needed me, and I try to be that teacher when, especially after this. I thought I was doing some of this stuff good. I think I do some things okay, and being around some of these top flight educators and administrators. I rode up there with Mr. Allen, his wife, and Tina Sapp, who I think are, who I really admire, and I try to emulate some of the things they do, and then I get around some of these studs, and I was humbled. And then when you go through something like this, and I feel like I called my wife the first night, I said, I'm gonna tell you, this thing made me a better human. Not only a better man, a better educator, I came out there as a better human. And all in all, it's really impactful. And I think if you can manage this right, I think you've got this thing has some teeth, because the kids need this. They need us to do this. They need us to step up our game and do the things that we're not necessarily not doing well. But I'm gonna tell you, I think I do some things pretty good, but I wasn't doing any of this good. And the empowerment and the affirmation, and Ms. Winston was saying, you know, I try to be that person. They come in positive, because I'm telling you, I was one of those kids that needed it. I needed Shirley Quinzel. I needed Randy Garrett. I needed Judy Williams. I needed those people because they changed my life. And I try to be that person when you see 5 years from now. I didn't learn about Boyle's law, pneumatics, hydraulics, gear ratios. I didn't learn squat, but I do remember the experience. And he made me a better human. So I think that if you can work this into teacher training and really buy into this, and I've been trying to tell you folks, I've been to training before I started teaching. I was in research and development field. I've been to training all over the southeast United States, all different kinds of training motivation, and I've never had anything that I left and I thought that was worth it. Okay. That was money well spent. I'd rather be in that classroom like the day I was before I got here. I was laying on my side teaching a kid how to do robots and gear ratios, laying down on the floor, and I would much rather be there. This is the only training I've ever been to that I said that was worth it. That's worth me being away from those students.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The only thing I'll add, and I'll leave you alone, but these three are superstars. God has wired them in a way to be relational. I think most of us know these three. We have a lot of teachers who are great at delivering knowledge, and they want to be relational the way they are. But some of our teachers don't quite know how to get there because God didn't wire all of us the exact same way. And I think seeing these teachers strive to be better, these caliber teachers are going to lift the next level. They're doing a great job, but can be better. And I think it's going to bring everybody up. So I appreciate y'all's consideration of our request.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Malvin.
Thank you.
And we placed the contract with Capture Kids Horse on the consent agenda for the next meeting. And it's a big number. It's a big investment for the school system. We're planning to do the training during pre-planning. We've got it worked out with them to do, we'll do half of the staff, all employees in 2 days, and then we'll turn around 2 days later or the next 2 days and do the other half of the staff. So we've got it planned to be able to do this thing right and be able to train all of the staff before the kids walk in the building this year, and do it during pre-planning, so we're not going to be pulling people out of the classroom and all that. We're going to build in the time to be able to get it done and do it right. So we really think we've done some big things over the years that can change the system. We think this is one of those things that can truly change the system. So if it pleases the board, we'll put it on the consent agenda. And keep in mind, this is money that came through ESSER for the pandemic, and it's already been approved by the state board.
Question,
Yes, sir.
going forward, this come out of general funds, or is this something that's recurring or what?
No, sir, they'll train all the staff this first year, and that's gonna be the big training, the big money, and then next year, we will have them come back and train the new teachers who come on board. The next year during pre-planning, we'll have some training for them, but that'll also be covered under ESSER. So all of it will be paid. Any expenses involved, this will be paid through ESSER. So, and those budgets are already submitted and approved by the state, so.
Well, what happens to those people who need retraining?
Then we could get them in that next year, year two, when we do the training.
And Dr. Lisa, if you don't mind me sharing, Ms. Leola, there is some additional trainings throughout next year that the team will come back to provide additional supports to schools who may need a little extra support, or maybe even schools who are achieving at a high level to help them move it next. So they'll support us regardless of where our schools are at, even after that initial training.
Sure. Do they also, as part of this, offer a train the trainer? Like we're going to have people capable of leading this effort forward beyond their initial?
The initial training is what they've asked us. They don't encourage train the trainer, and I'll be honest. I don't know if any of us. These guys are great, but I don't know exactly how they wove it together. It was almost a little like magic how they did it. But then down the road, hopefully we can continue to build our relationship with them, and I don't know where it would take us. I mean, it may.
I guess the question is about sustainability.
Yes, sir.
It's long term. So,
yes,
sir. I do know this. I know I attended the strategic planning meeting yesterday, and what was intriguing to me was the community and also staff surveys that had this issue with children and with staff at the top a lot of the time. So there is definitely a need for us to address that in some way. If y'all feel like this is something that you see has potential, then
Is there any way to track the progress of this program and see what kind of results we're getting?
Yes, sir. We'll be tracking. We're going through strategic planning right now. We'll be developing those metrics to track success on all of our initiatives, and this will be one of those initiatives that's part of our new strategic plan that we'll track on a metric.
what would be the expectation of the group here if you were going to say you wanted to put a metric in to our strategic planning to measure?
Well, and I'll tell you, the Capturing Kids' Hearts folks do their own research also. There's a lot of studies online where they study districts and they have results. I will say it is a little complex because this will impact not only our students' social and emotional health, but it should affect our attendance. We should see an increase. We should see a decrease in our discipline referrals. We should see a continued increase in our graduation rate. I would hope we see a reduction in tribunals. So they claim as we impact these children, it will change our culture and climate of our schools. Our students will want to be there, and we should see gains across the board. It's not the only factor in play, but I think it will be a very key factor in play.
Thank you. Board members, anything else? Do we want to place this on the consent agenda, or y'all want to keep?
That's fine with me. I just want to know.
Okay. All right. Very good.
All right. Thank you, board. And I think you can tell by everybody's talks that
Thank y'all for coming.
This will be good for our kids and whole community. All right. One source. We have a purchase here request for one source, and we have our human resource director and our finance director here to talk about one source.
Good evening. Following after that, this might not be quite as personally impactful, but we really think that this is going to be impactful for our end user, which is all of our employees. One Source, it is your one source solution. That's what that stands for. And it is a software that will allow us to bring together the current software we're using and have one solution versus having several different platforms that people have to log into for different purposes. So if you'll go up to the next slide. Okay. Thank you. This is what the screen would look like for the end user. So the teacher, any of our employees in the school system, if they need to look at their direct deposit, if they need to, do any changes, if they need to, pull any documents, it's a very simple process to get to. But at the same time, if they need to take a sick day, if they need to look at their, look at putting in a travel form, everything, it's one-stop shopping. So everything is in one place. It's similar to me to online banking, where, the platform and you can go to your different pockets. The purpose of this would be, first of all, it would bring everything together. So finance and HR would all be under one system. So it would make for cleaner, simpler data. Many processes that we duplicate now would be done once. But the ultimate goal is that it will make it so much simpler for all of our employees. Our bus drivers, our nutrition employees, a lot of our employees have a very difficult time navigating right now some of the different places they have to go, and this would bring it all just to one place with one single login, which would be the same login they use for their computer, so it would simplify the process tremendously.
So currently we have 2 vendors that we purchase our software from. One mainly does all our leave and our time and attendance, and the second one is more of our new hire processes, our requisitions employees do, and things like that, and our new hire paperwork. So this program would bring all this in to one platform. So what we would like to do is to begin the implementation this fiscal year in FY23, so that we can have several months to transition and get everything, in the system, okay? So we'd really be working the other systems as well, okay? So we're proposing that they proposed the quote here of $39,783.33. This is for this fiscal year to get us implemented, okay? We would like to begin July 1, moving forward with our employees and training them on all this. The requisitions, the leave, the time and attendance, and those things, okay? Once in fiscal year 24, we would terminate our agreements with our other 2 vendors, okay? Currently, our total approximately cost for those 2 vendors is $104,000. So this would be, the cost for this for one fiscal year would be $68,200. So we would have a savings, a cost savings, once we transition to this program, since it's just the one software that we'll be using, okay? We currently use this vendor, OneSource. They help us with our retirement plans, our 403B, our 457s for our employees, and also some reporting that we have to do, some compliance with our health insurance. So we're already using this vendor, so we have a relationship with them. And we've also, we have reached out to other systems and done some research that have transitioned to this platform, and they are successful, and they transitioned well. They didn't have any complications or anything with their transition. So we just feel that it would simplify our departments with everything being under one platform for our employees. So we're just asking you to consider us having this purchase.
It looks a lot like, are you familiar with Workday? The Workday?
Yes.
You're probably, okay.
Yes.
This looks a lot like Workday to
It
me.
does.
We're on with Tyson, that's what we're on. We've talked about this at the strategic planning, actually. And I know we're going to probably talk about it at our retreat, is the personal and professional development piece that I've experienced with my new employer, that I feel like we kind of missed that a little bit. I know professional development at the teaching and the classroom level is ongoing, but what are the things that we're doing similar to what capturing kids' hearts are? Are we capturing teachers' hearts, right? Is there a module here that I saw recruiting and hiring, and I saw outboarding or onboarding and tasks? Is that something where you could incorporate some personal development plans as part of
Well, one thing, this is 100% customizable for our system.
Okay.
So the systems around us, there's several systems around us that use it in, and everyone's looks a touch different. Almost like we talked about strategic planning, it could be ours, but we could make it look coffee. We can add modules, we can add pieces to this to make it more customizable to us. One of the major things that with recruiting that we have heard is that our onboarding needs more support. Our onboarding needs to be more succinct and simple. This would help with that, and then we could look at, being able to build pieces that is a button click for them to get to,
Right.
similar to that.
They wouldn't have to go on multiple sites.
No, we would give them a computer login, and their email, their computer login, once that is set up for them as a new hire, they would use single sign-on to get here, and that's it. And everything would be here. There would be no more going out to different pages. I need my check stub, I need my W-2, I need to come here to, put in a professional day, which are a lot of things that are stuffing, for them. That when you don't use it every day, you have a hard time remembering how to get in, where did I go, which one did this. So we're hoping that it's going to make it very, very simplified for them.
Thank you.
Y'all could live, well, it's gonna be much more efficient and save money. Hold on.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all. All right, and we are asking for approval for that tonight also. We are planning to use this for contracts. Is that true? Ms. Lott, we're going to try to use this with contracts?
Yes, sir. We're looking to do W-2s and contracts, which would almost be like a soft open for our employees already in place. They would, we would send them the link, so they would single sign on. They would go in and they could sign their contract. So then they would start getting used to the platform. They'd be able to see pieces there, and their history will be there from things that they've done in the past. We'll be able to populate that for them, so they can start kind of getting a feel of it, navigating it kind of like a new phone. They can start getting a feel of it, and then in July is when we'll be able to train everyone, to use it fully for next year, with leave and all the other pieces that that will need be a good solid start from July forward.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, and we're recommending that be on the consent agenda also. And that's all we have at this point as far as business is concerned. At this time, I would ask for an executive session to discuss personnel and the employment or evaluation or disciplinary action on employees, and then also real estate. So I would ask that we move to an executive session.
We're going to do we've got a board review of
Oh, yeah.
Code of ethics, conflict of interest.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the officer selection.
Yeah, I had jumped over to the regular meeting.
Yeah.
So we had the document for capture kids.
Yeah.
All right, so what's next on the agenda? All right, board review of the conflict of interest. All right. Any questions about those documents? And this is an annual review that we do of those documents, and
board members have an opportunity to read through.
the code of ethics we have included, and then the conflict of interest and the board operating protocol. All right.
And Robin, you'll need us to sign off at the end of it.
Yes, sir.
All right. And then we have number 12, selection of officers.
All right, well, board members, it's that time. We're going to elect an officers for the coming year. I'll be rolling off as chairman. So if anybody wants to make a nomination for chair, vice chair, nominations can be made from the floor. You don't need a second. Make a nomination.
Speak from the floor. Nominate Mr. Lott, Chairman.
Oh.
Back to you.
I'd rather stay where I'm at. Oh, Mr. Jower, would you be interested, or?
Whatever.
Don't lean into it too hard now.
I'd rather get another, I mean, it's, you know, it's up to y'all, but I'd rather take another year up here if I could. I mean, if Mr. Jowers would be willing, and I could stick where I'm at.
He did kind of duck out on us on that 1 year. Maybe we're catching up to him.
Yeah.
Feeling up to it?
We try. We always try.
Well, you've had the shingles and you've had the
Well,
COVID,
keep
you've
the fish in the
you've had
line.
everything. We got you in good shape. You ought to be able to.
I don't mind, like I said, I don't mind filling in, I just, got a lot of stuff going on this year, I'd kind of rather, Mr. Jowers or somebody do it if possible this year.
Change the Jowers chairman, him last year.
Got a nomination?
So moved. Yep.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right, we're good.
All right, good deal. All right.
Something can
All right, Ms. Jowers, good deal.
Yeah.
All right.
You seeing more of them?
That's right. Yes, sir.
I bet he's excited.
All right. Moving forward, we have executive session, and we'll go to executive session to discuss personnel and the employment or disciplinary action or evaluation of an employee and the real estate.
Motion to move to executive session.
Second. All right, all in favor? I mean, yeah, we're good.
We need a motion to exit executive session.
So move.
Second. Okay, we've got a motion by Mr. Preston and a second by Mr. Wade to exit executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Work session is adjourned.